Hello, hello, hello again. Welcome back. It's me, Patty Lynn, and I am excited to bring another story to you today, my dear friends. Today's story is going to be a little bit different than some of the ones I've been telling you because I've invited a special friend of mine to tell the story to you. His name is Oliver. I'll go get him right now. Oh, Oliver. Oh, yes, I'm ready. I'm coming. Right now, here, I look right this is the camera. All right. Hello. Hello, everybody. My name is Oliver. Yes, I'm a river otter. Yes, I live on the River Thames in Manchester, England. And I live there with my mum and my pop and my baby sister, Olivia. We live in a den. We like to call it a holt by some reeds. And we've got plenty of sunshine, warm breezes, lots of nummy fish, perch and salmon, trout, carp, even eels. Oh, eels. I love eels. Don't you love eels too? I hope so. Well, anyway, today I'd like to tell you a story about my very special friend. Now she's my best friend. Her name is Esmeralda. Esmeralda. She's a kingfisher, you know. What's that? Oh, you don't know what a kingfisher is? Oh, well, then I'll explain. A kingfisher is a bird, a very small bird. It's only about the size of a little sparrow. Oh, but it's a very special bird. You see, it has a rather large head and a long, sharp black beak, and short legs and an orange belly and beautiful, beautiful feathers. Oh, sometimes they look blue, sometimes green, sometimes turquoise. Oh, kingfishers are quite lovely birds. This particular kingfisher that I'm going to tell you about, her name is Esmeralda. And I want to share with you a story about how we became best friends. She actually saved my life. Well, the story goes like this. You see, I have a secret place along the riverbank that I like to go to each and every morning. And I go there before my mum and my pop even wake up. Well, one particular morning I woke up and I snuck out of our holt and I swam my way over to the riverbank. There's this large ash tree that had fallen down over some boulders in the water. Oh, and it's a perfect place for me to dive off of. Oh, I was hungry that morning, and I really had a taste for some yummy eels. So I swam over there, got myself on top of that large down tree, and I dove right down into the water. If you want to catch an eel, you got to go straight to the bottom. And so I got to the bottom and I was looking around for some eels when suddenly I felt a sort of a tugging on my leg. I looked down, but it was very murky water, so I really couldn't see anything. So I did what I always do. I made my famous little somersault in the water, and that way I could see my legs and all, and my tail. But when I looked down, I really only saw a rope that seemed to be tied to my leg. I tried to get it off, you know. I even tried biting with my own teeth, but it wasn't going anywhere. But that rope was tied with a clump of garbage. Oh, yes, there were plastic bottles and plastic bags. I think there was even a part of an old automobile tire tied up on that rope and that string around my leg. I kept gnawing at it and pulling at it, and no matter what I was doing, I just couldn't get it off of me. And I started to panic. You see, we river otters, we can only be under the water for about 3 to 4 minutes tops, and I was running out of time. and there was nobody there in the water to help me. My mum and me pop, they didn't even know that I was gone. Oh, I was in a pickle. What was I going to do? Well, Esmeralda the Kingfisher happened to be sitting up in a large tree up on the riverbank, and she was looking down in the water right about that time. She was spying a whole family of minnows on the surface of the water, and she was getting ready to make her needle nose dive straight into the water to have her some of those wonderful nummy minnows, you know. But suddenly she saw some bubbles starting to rise up to the surface of the water. Oh, those bubbles were coming from me as I was losing my breath down there. So what did Esmeralda do? Well, quick as a wing, she flew straight down into the water, all the way to the bottom. And she grabbed hold of that rope with that big, strong black beak of hers, and she tugged me all the way up to the surface. Oh, thankfully, I was spitting and coughing something awful. But I was alive, and she saved me. Well, not only that, but since that big clump of garbage was still tied to my leg, I was starting to float down the river a little bit. But Esmeralda, she safely pulled me with her beak, holding on to the rope over to the down tree. And I held on tightly while she flew back to our holt. And when she got to that holt and she peeked a little head inside, she started making noises to wake up me mum and me pop. Beep, 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 she cried. Mum and pop woke up, and Esmeralda told them what had happened. And so she guided them, her flying in the air, and Mum and Pop and my baby sister Ophelia swimming in the water all the way over to that down tree. Oh, when Mum and Pop saw me, they were frightened indeed. But we had to get that string, that rope off of me. And so with their help, we all gnawed at it with our sharp little otter teeth. Finally, we set myself free, and they helped in the process. Well, of course, as you might imagine, that big clump of garbage started floating down the river. Oh, no, we weren't going to let that happen, indeed. What we did was we pulled it over to the riverbank, and then we got it up out of the water and onto the riverbank itself. And Mum said, well, we river otters probably really can't do anything about the problem. But perhaps someday a nice young man or woman might come walking by and see that clump of garbage. Maybe they'll come up with a solution. Well, I don't know much about that. But what I do know was that Esmeralda, that Kingfisher, she saved my life. And I will always say, no matter how small a person is or a creature is, just remember, they too can be mighty. Well, thanks so much for listening to my story. Hope I see you again sometime. Bye-bye. Oh, Oliver, thank you so much. Oh, wasn't that sweet, boys and girls? Oliver's story about him and Esmeralda. Oh, I love that story. And if you like that story, you might like some of the other ones that I'm going to be sharing with you soon, all inspired from a wonderful, wonderful book called The Lost Words, which I'll be doing a video on too very soon. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and check for notifications so you can see what's coming up next. Always a pleasure having you with me, boys and girls. Take good care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.